Hey everyone, Dave from Repairs Rule. So, I guess you got me. Several people recognize me now from a business that I owned for many years. I owned a recumbent trike business. And what I'm going to show you today is how to build a trike stand to get the trike up off of the ground and make it easier to work on. So, why I know about this, I'm the creator of the original trike stand. Still can be seen online. I think I still have it up on trikestand.com, I believe, but we're not producing them right now. Maybe in the future, who knows, we'll see. But today, what I'm going to show you is my original prototype, how I built my original prototype. This stand works great. As you can see, I have an ICE Sprint rear suspension, e-assist trike up on it right now, and I'm going to go step by step of how you can build your own trike stand. Stay tuned. Okay, so this is all of the materials that we're going to need to build this trike stand. This is 1 3/8 top tubing that they use for chain link fence. That's what this is. These typically come in 10-foot lengths, so you're going to need two 10-foot sections of this top rail. Next up, we have the clamps. Now they call these gate clamps, and I will try to get all of these different numbers in the description below, so you can order these online if you like. Now the tubing is easier to just buy at your local home improvement center, like a Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. Next up, we have the cradles that we're going to build, and these cradles are not difficult at all to build, and we're going to go through all of that. So this is all the materials that we need. Next are all the tools that we need to build this trike stand. Very basic. We need a tape measure, and we can use a level at the end if we want to make sure everything's plumb. You need a regular hacksaw. Now you can use sockets and wrenches and whatever, but I like to use my little Bosch 12 volt, very convenient, like I talk about in other videos. Okay, so let's get ready and start cutting our pieces to the correct lengths. The three main tubes of your trike stand need to be 36 inches. So we need to cut out of the two 10-foot sections that we purchased. We need to cut 3 36. Now, next up, we need two. Now, we need to talk about this for a minute. These two that I have are cut at 20 inches. I would recommend that you cut these at 24 inches, and the length is adjustable depending on the length of your trike. You will see at the end of this video how that is an important measurement, but I would recommend that you cut those two at 24 inches. Now, the two short ones are both cut at 15 inches. So we have two at 15. I would recommend that you make those two, the second pair there, at 24, and then the final three are all 36 inches. So next, let's talk about the cradles. So the cradles, we're not going to get into a lot of detail on how these are assembled, but they're pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, we have a cup here, and then on this top is a ring, also a part for chain link fence that we're going to talk about here in a moment. But you do want to make sure that when you make this cradle that you coat it or cover it. This is clear tubing that I have over it now, but you can use foam like they use on 10-speed bikes or something like that to go over and get, a really nice protected cradle for your trikes. Okay, so let's talk about these cradles here real quick. Like I mentioned, we're going to start out with a cup, little top cap that slides on. And then this is the ring that we're going to buy, and you're going to need 3 each, 3 rings, 3 cups. And you're going to cut a section. Don't cut it in half. Cut a section out of that ring, maybe an inch long or so. And then we're going to be bolting this to this cup. Now we'll create our cradles that we're after. Now, next up that we're going to talk about is the clamps. Now, the clamps, you need 8 of these things, and we're going to try to have all of these numbers in the description below so you can buy all of these small parts. But we need 8 clamps, and that's all we need. And let's get this rearranged and get going. So now let's get started on the assembly. We're going to need 2 of the tubes, and this is 2 of the 36-inch, and we'll just roll these other ones out of the way. And let's turn these, let's orient them towards you to make this a little easier to see. Okay, so what we need here, we need to put clamps on these main tubes. We're going to put 2 on each of the main tubes. Now, when you put these clamps on, you want to orient them with the nut up. So it's just a lot easier when we start clamping things together. Just slide right onto the main tube. And again, we want 2 of them with the nuts pointed up on each of the tubes. We got those 2 on, and let's slide these other 2 on. One more. And now we have our 4 clamps on our main tubes. Now next, since we've got our clamps on our main tubes, we're taking the 2 short bars. These are the 2 15-inch tubes. And we're just going to loosen the clamps up so they slide in easily. We're going to slide it in one tube. Both clamps, one tube. Stop. Now let's put clamps on these cross tubes. So just loosen them up a little bit. You want to slide them on again with the nut facing upward. And take these and when you slide them on, make sure they're in the same direction. Makes it a lot easier assembling. So we're just going to slide that one on. And then we're going to slide the other main tube onto these cross tubes. And again, guys, very easy to adjust. This like Tinker Toys or Constructs or something like that. It's very easy to do. Just loosen them up and get them slid on there. So you got them both slid on. And this is where we're talking about the adjustability of that rack. I mean, you can adjust the height of the rack, and you can make lots of different changes on this rack if you need to. But this is a good starting point. So just take both of the pieces, slide them together, and we're going to select the bottom. So on this one, we're going to say this is the bottom down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure 13 inches off the bottom of that clamp down to the bottom of the tube. So we slide them around, hit 13 inches, right about there, real close, 13. Then we're going to stop here and we're going to set that nut. So let's grab our Bosch here and set that one. Okay, so that gives us a good starting point. So now we're going to the other side, and again, we're going to measure down 13 inches. Let's double check, 13 inches. We slide the tube, adjust to 13 inch, and we're going to set that one. Okay, now we're going to double check 13 and 13. It looks good, no problems. So this is off of the bottom. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that top tube and we're going to slide it, and we're going to measure 13 inches from the bottom of that clamp to the top of the next clamp. So we just slide them into position. We're looking for 13 inches. And we're going to set that one. Go to the other side, same thing. We're going to be measuring 13 inches apart on the clamps, and we're good. So now we're going to set that one. Okay, so we have this section all ready, and we're going to slide it off the side. This is the main stanchion, and we're going to pull in the other back section. Now let's build the rear stanchion for our trike stand. So all we need to do is, just like before, we're going to take the main tube and we're going to slide 2 of the clamps onto it. Again, remember now, keep the nut upwards, a lot easier to assemble. So 1 on each side. Now, this is where we're going to need to call the bottom. We're going to call this section the bottom. So we're going to slide these 2 tubes in. Now these are the 20-inch tubes that we had cut. These are the 2 tubes that we recommend that you cut to 24-inch. That will give it a wider stanchion, and we found that the 24 just works better. So we're going to take our tape measure. We're going to choose this as the bottom, and we're going 13 inches to the clamp, and we're going to go ahead and set that one. Next up, just like before, we're going 13 inches between the clamps. So we'll just move this clamp around till we can hit 13 inches. And again, these are easily adjusted. I mean, you can move these around, and when you get it all finished, that's where you really tighten it down. So we have 13 inches. Let's go ahead and set that one. Now, all that's left is to get this trike stand up and get it together. Let's do that now. So now all we need to do is to assemble the 2 pieces together here. So we'll just lift up the front stanchion, and we'll turn it so that the nuts will be pointing down, be on the underneath side, just for a cleaner look. Check them both. Yep. And loosen them up. Then we'll take the tail section. Now remember, the end that we said was the bottom, the 13 inches. We want to make sure that it's on the bottom. And this is where it can be a little bit fun, guys, a little bit tricky, because you have to loosen these clamps up, make them kind of loose, and you're going to wiggle these into place, and you'll get one started, and let's get the other one. Well, see, the top one popped. But this is typical. I mean, it's no big deal. You just maneuver them around. Everything's nice and loose. And you just tilt this one back. There we go. Tilt it back. And it looks like we're going to have to loosen that one up a little bit more too. It's a little bit tight. So we'll just reach underneath and loosen that nut up. So they're nice and loose. There we go. Slide it on, and then we just grab a hold of it and pinch the clamp, bump it from the back, snug up the nut there, okay, and then the bottom same way, bump it. There we go. Squeeze the clamp, snug up that nut. There we go. Now what we need to do is we need to look at this section, and we need to get our tape out and make sure that we're centered. So grab your tape measure, and we'll go from the post and center that top tube. Okay, now since we have that one centered, go ahead and set that one. Same thing on the bottom. We're going to measure from the tube to the center. We get that one where we want it. And we're going to go underneath, and we're going to set that one. So the stand's all together. Now all we need to do is get this table out of the way, drop the stand down to the floor. We'll get our cradles on, and then we'll get that trike over there and set it up on here. Okay, now with the trike stand on the floor, we're just going to take these cradles, and they just slip right onto the top of the tubes. They turn 360 degrees, easy to conform to your trike. So there we go. Set them up. Nice stable platform. Now, if this is too high and you don't want to lift the trike that high, you could always cut these at a shorter height. And anytime you do that, I'd always recommend that you double stabilize it like we've done here. But anyway, it's a good solid stand that will hold a heavy trike with no problems at all. And people ask about that. If I jump up here my weight on top of it. I mean, it'll hold your trike with no problem at all. So let's go grab this e-assist trike over here and get it lifted up, get it put on here. Now, guys, if you like this type of information, if this trike stand is going to help you, we really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It really helps us a lot and lets us bring more content like this to you. So we just rearrange the trike on here a little bit. And again, now this is an e-assist trike, so it has a hub motor and it's not a lightweight trike. Rear suspension, and now we're all the way up, and it's easy to work on at this height, this 36-inch height. You can get to everything. Everything's right at about chest level, stomach chest level. And it's an easy way to service chains or derailleurs. You can get to, your brakes, everything very easily. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.